Yay! June is here! The sun is out, the birds are singing, people are touching grass. So naturally, I thought we'd celebrate summer by talking about a medieval mystery involving 130 children who vanished without a trace. Because apparently that's the kind of channel we're running now. This is the story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. Our story begins in the medieval town of Hamelin, in what is now Germany. And if you've ever heard the fairy tale, you probably know the basics. Mysterious man arrives. Town is overrun with rats. He promised to get rid of them. Townspeople agree to pay him. He plays his flute, the rats follow him, the rats disappear, the town refuses to pay. So the piper returns and lures away the town's children instead. At the end, a creepy fairy tale. Or is it, though? Historians discovered something unsettling. Some of the oldest records from Hamelin don't even mention rats at all. No plague of rats, no revenge, no dramatic showdown. Just one terrifying detail. On June 26, 1284, a colorful stranger arrived in town. He played music, and around 130 children followed him out of the city. Then, they were never seen again. Ever. That's it. That's the record. Imagine finding that in your town archives. Not, here lies the history of our beloved city. But one day all the kids left with a flute, died, and nobody knows where they went. Excuse you. The story became so important that Hamelin reportedly created a stained glass memorial window in a church. Unfortunately, the original no longer exists, but descriptions of it survived. It apparently depicted the mysterious piper and the children, meaning the town itself believed something significant had happened. This wasn't just a bedtime story, it was treated as a historical event. Something the townspeople remembered for generations. Oh, you're still here. Okay, I guess I can continue. Honestly, I didn't think you'd make it until here. So this is where things get creepier. There are several theories. None of them fully explain everything. One theory is that the children didn't die. Some historians believe the children weren't actually children. In medieval documents, the world could refer to young people or citizens. The theory is that a recruiter arrived in Hamelin. Back then, parts of Eastern Europe were being settled. Recruiters traveled through towns, convincing young people to migrate and start new lives elsewhere. So perhaps the piper wasn't a magical musician. Maybe he was a charismatic leader. 130 young townspeople left to seek fortune in distant lands. Over time, the story became legend. And honestly, that's probably the least exciting explanation, and therefore my least favorite. Second theory, a natural disaster. The theory suggests the children died in an accident. Perhaps they followed the leader into the mountains. Maybe there was a landslide, cave collapse, flood, something catastrophic. The town loses an entire generation. Tragedy becomes wrapped in folklore. Centuries later, all that's left is the image of a man leading them away. Third theory, disease. Some historians suggest a plague or epidemic in the Middle Ages. Disease could wipe out huge groups of people. Maybe the piper became a symbolic representation of death itself. Kind of like the Grim Reaper, leading the young away from the living world, which is somehow even less comforting. Fourth theory, the really creepy one. And then there's the theory that keeps the mystery alive. What if the records are exactly what they appear to be? A stranger arrived. Children followed him, and they disappeared. Not metaphorically, not symbolically, actually disappeared. No explanation, no bodies, no records of where they went? Nothing. Now, the people of Hamelin were so haunted by the event that, according to local tradition, they avoided certain references to it for centuries. Some accounts claim a street associated with the disappearance became a place where music and dancing were forbidden. Imagine a tragedy so traumatic that generations later, people still don't want to hear music there. That's chilling. Today, the Pied Piper is remembered as a fairy tale, a children's story, a guy with a flute and some rats. And if you enjoyed this cheerful little summer story about mass child disappearances, make sure to follow for more historical nightmares that somehow actually happen.